guys, welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. I'm your host Hamza Chowdhury, and in this video I'd like to spend some time talking to you about the Tesla earnings. The third quarter earnings came out today. I don't know about you, but I was extremely excited, anticipating this for quite a while. We haven't had a Tesla catalyst for quite some time, since Battery Day. Obviously we've heard some breadcrumbs that Elon tweets out. We just had the one a couple of days ago about the full driving capacity of the car being released, a beta version at least. And so what I wanted to do today was just kind of go over the stock, go over sort of what happened in earnings, and kind of just summarize what the earnings released and what we know about Tesla moving forward. But before I do so, I'd always like to ask a favor of you. If you could just hit that like and subscribe button to the channel. We're a 100% free content channel, so anything that you could do to help support us, I'd appreciate it. All right, guys, with that said, let's just jump right into it. So today was kind of an interesting day. We've been having this sell-off in general in the market because of the stimulus and the no stimulus deal, and we've talked about it. And so what I've done is I created this wedge that I have here and shown as the red line, and I used the recent high, which was sort of post-market around the 500 range, to the recent high that we had, that sort of breakout we had talked about and anticipated last week, and also the recent lows. And so what we talked about today, and I had filmed a video earlier just sort of discussing this price action, that we actually had 4 days of selling off in Tesla. And so once we had this false breakout, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we had this sort of day, which is a gravestone doji. And what was interesting about this was I wasn't worried about a sell-off with the earnings. A lot of times when you get earnings, you have this sort of run up, people are buying up the stock, and then the moment the earnings comes out, they just dump it, right? And in this case, we were already sort of selling off, and we've had awesome consolidation in this range, right? From the 405, 410 all the way up to the 440, 450 range. And we've just been sort of stuck in this range for the last month. So I wasn't really worried that it was going to sell off. I know there's a lot of people out there that are trying to scare others. They're saying it's going to be 380, it's going to be 350. I think there were some that were like under 300. That's not going to happen. This company is changing the world, and this company is heading, to $1 trillion in no time. And it's, obviously threatening everyone around it. So this we had this, sort of run up today, and then we had, pushback because, again, the general market's selling off. And so if we look at our 15-minute chart, you can see we had this initial run up, right? So the stock actually ran up pretty high. So it started around 423, ran all the way up to about 430, and then pulled back some. And then you can see it hit this 15, this SMA line that I have. And this is the 15-minute chart, and it bounced off of it. So this tells me that this was a bullish play. And then finally, in the later half, when again we keep hearing about the stimulus talk, it failed coming into earnings. So they could have just been people, maybe they were also worried, right? Like, what if the earnings don't come right? And then all of a sudden, you can tell when we have this massive volume, the biggest volume bar here, right at closing. Look at this bar, right? So the low is 420 and the high is 441. So imagine, again, I always go back to why is the market so much fun to play, that you could have a 20-point move in a matter of 15 minutes. And then it actually pulled back and came. So now keep in mind that the earnings were released right after the market, but they didn't actually have the conference call till about 2:30 Pacific time. So just to kind of give you guys a summary of what happened with the earnings, here's sort of a brief report of what happened. So they beat pretty much on everything. So first thing is they had 27 cents on earnings per share, and that beat Wall Street. And then they also have, still, despite all of the obstacles, and again I'm even blown away, 500,000 vehicles this year. They're still have the capacity, still a goal, and I know that Elon had tweeted about that not that long ago. And they have $8.7 billion versus 6.3 a year ago. So this company has grown over 2 billion in just a quarter in a year. And the earnings per share is 57 cents. Revenue view is 8.36. And honestly, there's just so many amazing things that they're doing right now. If you've heard that they have the Model 3 in Shanghai, they have different factories now. It's not just the Fremont factory that's producing their cars. So now imagine a auto manufacturing plant that's being multiplied around the world. So now they have this ability, in Europe and in China and America, and especially in Fremont, to mass produce their vehicles, and they can produce different types of vehicles. So for example, Model Y in Fremont expected to reach capacity level production soon. That they're increasing capacity for Model 3, which we know has been, solid for them. And so that they've increased their cash. You know, look at this, quarter in cash from 5.9 to $14 billion. So they just have a ton of money. And then I was excited to hear that the semi, you know, we haven't really heard too much about the semi. It's actually going to start being delivered in 2021. And I don't know if you guys recall, but when the semi was announced, Walmart was actually one of the first companies to come out and say, hey, we want them. So, you know, a lot of companies are going to jump on that. And so, again, Shanghai, they've had Model 3 production capacity has increased to 250,000 units. And then basically, like I said, again, they're going to have the 500,000 is still possible. And then, of course, they have, you know, additional plants that they're going to start producing. And how do they do it? I mean, have any of you guys asked yourself, like, how does a company even do this? I mean, to go around the world, start new plants, hire all those workers, manage this, hit all these targets. I mean, I'm blown away. Like, I can't get over how much, like, how hard is it to manage? And like, Elon looks great, you know, and he always sounds like he's not stressed out. So he's, you know, he's definitely doing a solid job, and it's just exciting to be a part of a great company. Like I said, in the past videos, I used to own a Model S, and back in the day, it wasn't really something most people talked about, and it just seems like every day there's something new to talk about with Tesla and what they've accomplished. So guys, solid earnings. You know, we saw this sort of initial sell-off, and then we, you know, basically hit the VWAP, which is this purple line, and then we basically got back up to our 336 level, tested the VWAP again, and then we went right back up to 436, and we just consolidated. So what I expect tomorrow, which will be Thursday, October 22nd, is that we gap up and we continue to trend higher. You can see that the SMA line is trending higher. We had solid earnings, so I can definitely see us getting back to 450 and continuing that momentum back to 500 by year's end. Okay, guys. Well, with that said, if you have any questions, comments, or you concerns about Tesla, feel free to leave a comment below. I do read all the comments and address them as well. So take care, guys. Happy trading, and I hope you're doing well. Take care. Bye-bye.